two, one.
Hi, this is Craig Proctor, and welcome to the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show. My special guest today from Miami, Florida, is Kristine Zelazo, and Chris has been a longtime Craig Proctor member. Chris, welcome to the Craig Proctor Show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Now, I notice your backdrop there says Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Talk to us a little bit about your company, and then we're going to get into like how you met me and how your real estate business has basically been totally transformed over the last few years.
Okay, so I'm the owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty in Hollywood, Florida, which is situated between Miami and Fort Lauderdale. I don't just give leads, I provide booked appointments, motivated buyers and seller leads.
So that's let interrupt for one sec. That's a big thing. Like most broker owners, I was talking to someone actually earlier today, and they're like, well, every broker owner promises, well, if you join up with our company, we'll give you leads or we'll give you training. And usually, as we know, the training's not that good. The training's like door knocking and cold calling. And so not that training's not important, but who you're getting the training from, what the training is about is the most important thing. And that's why you came to me many years ago. So your big unique selling proposition with real estate agents, or the reason why real estate agents in South Florida would want to partner up with you, is you don't just give them leads or tell them to go cold call or pester their their sphere of influence. You actually give them set listing appointments and buyer points. Like these are qualified listing appointments, people that want to list the house. So why do that? Why not just go out and do it, get the listings by yourself?
Well, because first of all, I have so much business that I can't handle everything myself.
Everybody hear that? That's a great answer, right? Because some of you might be skeptics like, well, why would Chris give away listing appointments versus just going out and taking the listing herself? Why would she split the commission? Well, because you can't do them all. And we teach agents how to do that, to explode your business to the point where you physically, even if you wanted to, you physically can't go out and meet with all the buyers and sellers. Now, the good news about this is because Chris has a team to do a lot of the heavy lifting, the question I want everyone to think about right now is how many homes could you sell if it didn't have a whole lot to do with you, or if it had nothing to do with you? And that's the vision that Chris has. Chris is like, I can build this really big because I'm in charge of marketing. I make it rain. I bring in the listing appointments and the buyer appointments. And then I spend my time recruiting great agents to go out on the appointments. And not only do you just recruit agents, you spend a heck of a lot of time training them and coaching them how to be excellent.
Absolutely. And that's one of the number one complaints I'm getting from agents that I interview, is that they haven't been receiving the amount of training that they needed, as well as they've been getting poor leads. And
I hear the same thing, Chris. I hear agents saying, well, I was promised, when I joined my brokerage, I was promised all this great training. Either the training doesn't happen at all, or the training is old school door knocking, cold calling. Basically, the training involves telling the agents to do more of what's already not working for them.
Exactly.
So how would your training be different then? If an agent was to partner up with you, so, okay, that's cool that I'm getting listing appointments, but you could give me a listing appointments. I could still go out and, come back without the listing. I used to call that in my office when I'd send my agents out. You're either going to come back with a story or you're going to come back with the listing, right? So we don't want agents coming back with a story about, well, they were going to list with me, or next week they're going to list with me. Nope, we want the listing. So talk to us about the training that you provide and the system that this revolves around.
Okay, so first of all, they get access to your training from you and Todd Walters through the university, which is done online. They can do it from the comfort of their office, my office, or their home. It's matter of fact, there's just so much training that when they're finished, they know everything that they need to know.
Okay, so you've got online training, you've got in-person training.
That is correct.
So the training is on, for your outside sales agents, specifically on how to do the best listing presentation and how to do the best buyer presentation. And I think we would all agree there's probably a best way. There's probably a best way to do the presentation. Well, we've figured that out. And so we know that if Chris went out on the appointment, she'd list 80% of them. Well, how do we mimic that? How do we teach the agents at Chris's brokerage to go out and get the same great results? Well, we do this with training. And so what Chris has been able to do is basically take what she knows, transfer it to the agents that work at her brokerage. So whether Chris goes out in the appointment or one of her agents goes out in the appointment, they've still got that same great 80% conversion rate. And I want everyone to think about this, because this is really the Rainmaker rule. The Rainmaker rule states, if I can't change the outcome, why would I do it? So Chris now knows that she can send someone out, one of her agents on the team, out to a listing appointment or to meet with a buyer, and they're going to get the same result as her. So she doesn't require her to do this. And now that means, she can grow her business exponential. How many of you would agree, if you had a business that could work without you, then you could sell a lot? Like, there's no limit to the number of homes that you could sell. How many homes could you sell if it didn't involve you? So that's the vision that Chris has, and she's building this thing out. And Chris, now you're spending your time on the marketing, bringing in the business, the recruiting of the great agents, and the training of the agents. Those are probably the three big pillars that you focus on.
Absolutely. And also I have people shadow me until they're comfortable with meeting with buyers and sellers themselves.
Okay, very important. So you go out on the listing appointments and the buyer appointments, and your new recruits just follow you around for a couple of weeks until they've got it. And then you might even follow them around and they do the talking, just to make sure that they completely understand what should be said, the order that should be said in. So folks, if you have the proper training, within a couple of weeks, your listing presentation and your buyer presentation can greatly improve. But think about this. When you partner up with Chris, you join her brokerage, think of all the things that you're no longer doing. Okay, I want everyone to think about what you're no longer doing. You're no longer wasting your time cold calling or door knocking or sitting in open houses or doing floor time. You're not running around getting keys cut at Home Depot, right? You're not installing key boxes. You're not banging for sale signs or sold signs in the front lawn. All of that is taken care of by the administrative team. You're also not prospecting, okay? You're not making cold calls. You're not calling back leads. You're not doing anything to set up the appointments, because the appointments are set up for you. So other people do the administrative tasks. Other people do the marketing and the setting up of the appointments. So literally all you have to do, if you're an agent working with Chris, is you decide, hey, I'm going to open my day timer up these days, like these hours on these certain days. And be careful, though, because if you open your day timer, Chris is going to fill those spots with listing appointments and buyer appointments. Okay, then we meet with you on a regular basis. How's it going? You were out on 8 appointments last week. How can we improve? What kind of results we get? So it's a continual line of improvement. So in other words, the training is forever. The training is forever, just forever working on it, making it better, making it better, making it better. And you're in an environment where you're working with Chris and you're working with other top agents, so you learn a lot from each other. Is there anything I've missed on this description of your business, Chris?
No, you have everything covered. I do have office meetings once a week, and I have a motivational meeting. So that I do.
You're helping people set their goals and actually reach their goals, but you've got a tool. I mean, all the coaching and training is based around a system, the Craig Proctor system. So
correct.
This involves lead generation systems, conversion systems, presentation systems, systems on how to recruit, hire, train, and manage. Everything is there. So we're following a system, just like if you were to buy a franchise, buy a McDonald's franchise or a Burger King, like here's the way to do it. And we have systems for everything in the business. Most agents do not have systems. Most brokerages don't have systems. In fact, if you're with a Keller Williams or you're with a Remax or whatever, there may be 50 agents at your office, but each one of those agents within your brokerage is doing real estate a completely different way. There is no way, right? There's Bob's way and Susan's way and Tom's way. Everybody's doing it kind of their own way. So we provide you with a way, a systematic way to do every part of this, and we coach you up on it. Now, before we started the interview, Chris, you were saying not only is my marketing and my presentation so strong to get people, prospects, to call me in the first place? Instead of me calling them, they're calling you, they're hunting you down, they're pursuing
Yes.
you. But you're able to not only win the business, even if they're speaking with other agents, but you're able to negotiate a higher fee. So let's talk about
Absolutely.
that, because that's totally unbelievable to most agents. Most agents believe, well, the agent that gets the business is the agent that quotes the highest price or cuts the commission the most. You're not doing that. You're actually winning the business and charging a higher fee.
Absolutely. I charge more than the average agent.
Okay, so why would people pay you more than the average agent? The battle we fight is the consumers. They believe, well, all real estate agents are the same. And they believe that all real estate agents are probably paid too much and, they don't work very hard for their money. That's kind of their perception. How do you cut through that? If I was selling my home and I interviewed 3 agents and you were one of the 3 agents and the other 2 agents offered me a lower fee, why would I choose to list with you versus the other 2 realtors, even though you're going to charge me a higher fee?
Because I show value. I offer more than your average agent would offer. Matter of fact, I have guarantees that no other agent can offer. And I offer promises that no other agent can offer.
So give us some examples of some of those guarantees or promises that would be meaningful to a home seller.
Communication guarantee.
That's a big one, because that's one of the biggest complaints that homeowners have, whether they sell or they expire off the market. We hear home sellers bitch all the time about, I never hear from my agent. I listed my house with my agent. They don't call me back. I never hear from them. I got to chase them around. So tell us about your communication guarantee.
If I do not return a phone call within 24 hours, I deduct a certain amount of my commission at closing.
I like that, because there's an actual consequence. And you see, real estate agents, if you're using the word guarantee without the actual consequence linked to the guarantee, like Chris just did, it becomes a meaningless guarantee. So many real estate agents are running around saying, I guarantee great service. I guarantee to get you the lowest price, or I guarantee to sell your home fast, or what? There is no consequence, right? It's just words, where you're saying, look, we're going to get back to you within 24 hours. Okay. Or we're going to deduct a little bit off of our commission for any time that happens, but it's not going to happen, but we guarantee it. Give me another example of a guarantee or performance guarantee that you would offer.
Your home sold guaranteed, or I'll buy it.
Okay, that's the biggie. That's the name of the brokerage. Of course, you can see that behind Chris. Now, I know many of you watching this are like freaking out. It's like, well, how could you do that? Wouldn't you get stuck owning all these homes? No, not at all. Or you might think, well, this is a bait and switch. Nope, it's something we actually do. The reason the top agents all over North America are using my guaranteed sale program is because it's what buyers and sellers want. Now, you personally as an agent, you might have a stigma attached to this. You might have this perception about, well, this isn't something you're interested in. Doesn't matter. It's what buyers and sellers are interested in. And who wouldn't be interested in getting a guarantee that if your house doesn't sell for the predetermined upfront price, this is the price that the sellers accepted. If it doesn't sell for that price or more, Chris actually buys their home for the pre-agreed amount that was given to the home seller initially in writing. Now, it gets better than that. Chris doesn't want to buy their home. The seller would rather sell their home for more money to an outside buyer. So Chris's company goes to bat with this awesome marketing, and 99% of the time they sell the home for more than the guaranteed amount. Okay, so the homeowner always gets the highest offer, whether it would be their upfront guarantee offer in writing, which is a little bit less than market value, but it can't be crazy less. Otherwise, the home seller would kick you out of the house and say, well, that's not reasonable. And so we're offering an insurance policy for homeowners that they won't get stuck owning 2 houses. Now, I want everyone to think about this. Chris, we call this the real estate catch-22. Many people that want to make a move have a house. Okay, so now this move-up buyer is thinking, well, how do I do this? If I get excited about another home before I sell my existing home, and I don't sell my existing home in time, I could get stuck owning two homes. However, if I do it the other way and I sell my existing home first and without finding another home, well, what if I don't find another home in time? Now I have no house. I got zero house. I'm homeless. So that is why 25 years ago, I invented the guaranteed sale program, which was really like a trade-up program. Just like you would trade in your car, your old car, for a new car. Sure, you could sell it yourself on Auto Trader, but most people don't do that. And when you trade your car into a new car dealership, you're probably getting a little bit less than what you could sell your car for if you sold it, privately on Auto Trader and had, strangers and weirdos coming over to your house looking at your car. But most people, for the convenience, would rather just drive their old car into the new car dealership and drive out with the new car. Well, that's how the guaranteed sale program works. So typically what we do is we guarantee 95% of what we believe market value is. So if Chris meets with a homeowner and says, hey, okay, your house is worth $1 million. Now, this is a conversation all of you have anyway, right? I don't know if this happens for you folks, but if you ever met with a seller that wants more for their home than what it's worth, yeah, it's called every day, right? So, but you got a little bit of leverage here. So Chris meets with the home seller, says, hey, your house is worth $1 million. And the homeowner might say, well, hey, Chris, I think it's worth 1.1. Well, Chris would say, well, we could list it at 1.1, but I can't give you the guarantee based on 1.1 because that's more than what the house is worth. Now, usually the homeowner wants the guarantee more than Chris wants to give it. So he's got a little bit of leverage. So Chris can say, well, look, I can offer you the guarantee based on a market value of $1 million, but there's a little bit of a buffer. We have a convenience fee, a 5% convenience fee. So the $1 million home, we would guarantee for $950,000. Okay, now what that means is upfront and in writing, Chris is signing off, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, if I don't sell your home for at least $950,000 or more, $950,000 or more within the next 120 days, I'm going to step in and buy it. Now, the homeowner is either going to say, okay, yeah, I like that, or I don't like that. And Chris is totally okay if the homeowner says, no, I don't really need that guarantee. That's fine. This is like an extra insurance policy that we're offering homeowners that no other agent is offering. But most homeowners love the security of, okay, at least there's a safety net. At least if, I buy this other home through Chris and I don't get my home sold, I don't know, recession breaks out, another war breaks out, whatever, at least I know my bottom line, $950,000. Okay, now Chris goes to bat. She puts all her marketing efforts, this awesome marketing team together. And what's going to happen 99 out of 100 times is she's going to sell the home for more than $950,000. So that means, yes, Chris made the guarantee, but she didn't actually have to buy the home because a superior offer came in from an outside buyer. Now the homeowner is going to be overjoyed with this. It's like, okay, I was guaranteed $950,000 by Chris, but we've got an offer here for $970,000. So they accept the offer from the outside buyer, but it gave the homeowner, the move-up buyer, the peace of mind to move up and buy one of Chris's listings, which Chris is happy with. She just double-ended one of her listings. And let's say a person with $1 million home in Miami might buy a $2 million home. Well, if Chris is double-ending her $2 million home, she might make $120,000, $130,000, $140,000 for the pleasure. Okay, now, if you want to learn how to do this, you need to know the rules and you need to know what you're doing. So that's my disclaimer here. I don't want anyone to run around attempting this until you've been trained. You've been properly coached and trained how to do this. I can tell you that in 30 years, I made millions and millions and millions and millions and millions. In fact, I sold 10,000 homes. A big reason was the guaranteed sale program. I only ended up buying two, Chris. You've heard the story. The first one, I never even looked at the house. It was in downtown Toronto where I'd never sold a home before. Well, shame on me. That's pretty stupid, right? To guarantee to buy a home that you've never seen in an area where you've never sold a house. So that's on me. The second house, I just messed up and I guaranteed it for more than what the home is worth. So you never want to do this unless you know what you're doing. Obviously, it's like, you got to know what you're doing. So these are some of the guarantees that Chris has. In fact, the name of her company is Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Okay, you list with us. If we don't sell it, for the price we promise you on day one, the day you list with us, we'll buy it at the pre-agreed price. And if we sell it for more money anytime through this process, you, the homeowner, always gets the highest price. Let us know in the comments if this is something you're interested in. Because here's what I'm going to recommend that you do. I'm going to recommend, if you're interested in knowing how Chris does this, that you contact her. If you're in South Florida and you truly want to work with a remarkable brokerage, somebody that is, when we say partnered up, actually is a partner with you, someone who's actually interested in your success. And you may say, well, why is Chris so interested in my success? Well, because when you win, she wins. The more money you make, the more money Chris makes. That's what makes the world go round, right? So I don't want you to think, well, what's the split here? No, I want you to think about how much money could you make net in your pocket. Work for the brokerage. It's going to net you the most in your pocket after the expenses. You could be at a brokerage right now where you get to keep 100% of it, but 100% of nothing is still nothing. Is the brokerage you're working with, are they giving you an actual listing appointment, or are they giving you a bunch of Zillow leads? Well, you know how that goes. You call 100 Zillow leads, nobody even answers the phone. And for maybe 2 or 3 that answer the phone out of 100, they like, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't request this. Somebody was playing with my phone, because these are not real leads. It's scraped information. Now, your broker isn't providing you appointments. I can say that with certainty. They're not doing that. That's what this is about. Okay, now, again, if you're in South Florida, okay, if you're in the greater Miami area, you're going to contact Chris. And what's the best way, Chris, for agents to at least have a conversation? It costs $0 to talk to Chris about this.
They can call me at 786-570-0360.
So you can stick your head in the sand and you can be a skeptic and you can think about all the reasons about what's wrong with this. Or you can have an open mind and say, well, what if this is true? What if Craig Proctor has created more millionaire agents than any other coach or trainer or guru? Look, folks, in the coaching arena, the bar is pretty low. Most of these coaches either didn't sell real estate or they weren't that successful as real estate agents. Do you want to know what I did? Within 3 years of having my license, I became the #1 RE/MAX agent in the world. And you want to know how I did it? I did one thing. I started offering the guaranteed sale program. Who was I? I was a nobody. Never sold anything in my life. Had no confidence. Knew nothing about real estate. But within 36 months of having my real estate license, I did one really smart thing. I offered the guaranteed sale program. Your home sold or Craig will buy it. And it completely revolutionized my business overnight. It was almost like I wasn't even in the same real estate business as the other agents. And what happened was buyers and sellers knew me. Craig Proctor is not just a real estate agent. They're like, oh, Craig, he's the guy that will buy your home if it doesn't sell. He'll buy your home. He'll guarantee the sale of it. It totally enabled me to dominate my marketplace. Okay, I go on to sell over 10,000 homes, be one of the top agents in North America. So that's why I started teaching other agents how I had massive success. I had no money. I never sold anything in my life. I knew nothing about marketing. So if I can do this, you can do this. If Chris can do this, you can do this. You just have to be open to, is there a better way? Now, I know there's lots of reasons to be skeptical. I'm going to repeat this again. Most of the coaching out there is weak. I can bet, and I shouldn't say this maybe without knowing it, but I can bet your training you're getting from your brokerage or wherever you're getting it, it's weak. It's about cold calling. It's about door knocking. It's about getting more referrals. It's about doing more of the stuff that you're already doing. Here's why you're still watching this. Because this interests you, right? I think we would agree, if you want to do better next year, if you want to get better results, you can't keep doing what you're doing now, right? And that's what everyone's pushing at you. Well, do more cold calling. Oh, it's already not working. Do more of it. Do more open houses. Go pester your friends and family in your sphere for more. Do more of what you're doing. Nope. What we want to show you is a completely different path. I want to show all of you how you can actually accomplish more while working less. That's called leverage. That's what I was able to do. I was able to sell 500 or 600 homes every single year for over 20 years. And my team eventually did most of the heavy lifting. Now, everyone on my team made really, really good money. So you might be thinking, well, maybe I want to have a brokerage. If you're not in South Florida and you want to have a conversation with me about opening up a Craig Proctor brokerage in your marketplace, then you call me. You can book a time with me, actually. Go to proctorcall.com. Okay? We'll put it in the comments below, proctorcall.com. You can book what we call a breakthrough call. Is it a sales pitch? Nope, it's not a sales pitch. I don't need your money. We just explain how this works. Say, this is what we've got. This is what it'll do for you. Would this interest you? I'd explain it all to you. Okay, and you can decide, yeah, this interests me or it doesn't. But go to proctorcall.com. You're going to book a free call. It's on Zoom, so we can show you things. And you can get more information about this. But if you are in South Florida, if you're in the greater Miami area, you don't need to call Craig Proctor. Everything you want to do in real estate is already being done by Chris. All you have to do is call her or just Google her. Okay, Google her and then Google yourself. And then Google Chris and then Google yourself. You'll see there's a tremendous difference. We show you how to set up your marketing. We show you a system that's been proven to work. Over 30,000 agents using the Craig Proctor system over the years to make more money and have more time and have more freedom in their life. And I assume that's what all of you want. So, final words, Chris, before we wrap up this awesome interview.
Okay, so first of all, I want to let everybody know that I joined your program in 2019, and every year thereafter, my income has doubled.
Well, there you go. Every year. Now, it's easier, would you say, Chris, to double it the first year? What's hard is to keep doubling it, right? So to double it from 2019 to 2020 in the pandemic, I mean, that's one thing. But to double it again from 2020 to 2021 and then double it again from the next year and the next year and the next year, it becomes more difficult. But that's leverage. You see, Chris, there's no limit to how many homes she can sell because she understands the concept of leverage. She knows how to bring in more and more business. And since the going out to the appointments part is handled by our team, again, how many homes can Chris sell if it has nothing to do with her? And this is where all you folks come in. You come in, you plug yourself into the team. You don't have to recreate any of this. Chris has been a great student now for 4 or 5 years. She's invested the time and the money in the Craig Proctor system. Let her do the marketing. Let her set up the listing appointments for you. It's like when you go bowling, right? You know, the little machine comes down and sets up all the pins. That's what Chris does. She sets up all the pins in the bowling alley. All you got to do is knock the balls down. And then Chris sets the pins up again and you knock the balls down. And then Chris says, okay, I'm going to help you with your form with the bowling ball. Like throw the ball like this, get a little better like this. This is how you make money in real estate. You plug yourself into a real system. There's no need for you just to operate as an island on your own. Look, you're watching this for a reason. Chris and I are a half an hour into this interview, and you're still watching it. That tells me you're interested. You're looking for something new. Everybody wants a leader. Everybody wants to believe, well, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be somebody out there that's done this before that can teach me how to make more money and have a better life in real estate. Folks, I can tell you, you've come to the right place. Look at Chris. She's doubled her income every single year that she's been involved with Craig Proctor, but so can all of you. We'll introduce you to our millionaire agents. In fact, you can also join my private Facebook group. It's called richagentsecrets.com. richagentsecrets.com. There are secrets to being rich as a real estate agent. So, Chris, give us your phone number one more time before we wrap up this interview.
786-570-0360.
Costs nothing for the phone call. Okay, be open-minded. Pick up the phone and call Chris and say, hey, Chris, is this real? If you really, since you met Craig Proctor, doubled your income every year, would that be real if I partnered up with you? You would just give me listing appointments. I wouldn't do anything all day except for go out on listing appointments and sign buyers up to buyer contracts. Chris will say, yeah, this is how it works. Get knowledgeable about this, right? You came here for a reason. You're still listening to this for a reason. Why? Because it makes sense. Chris, I want to thank you so much for doing this interview today, and we'll get you back on here soon to follow your progress here. But great job. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Craig, and thank you for having me.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. This is Craig Proctor, and you've been watching the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show. Take care, and we'll see you next time.